board because we have a lot of good stuff for you today, I think. First off, for those of you who might not know me, Mike Fallert, the new, I guess, incoming chamber president. Kind of exciting. We kick off a new fiscal year, first meeting of our FY for the chamber. So we're real excited about that, and we're really excited about the turnout today. It's just wonderful. We appreciate everybody coming out. Probably an indication of what the presentation we have maybe today, already lined up. But anyway, we're really excited. Dina, I think, and the board does, we do our best to try to provide informative and presentations throughout the year at our membership meetings. So please spread the word. I think we have a lot to offer. We're, again, very excited about the year. Plenty of upcoming events, which Dina or someone will cover this afternoon. So without anything else, I'm going to turn it over to Dina for the introductions. Go ahead and take your time, keep eating, grab those wonderful, how's that dessert? Good stuff. And we'll move on.
Okay, so I know we have a lot of people here with us today that are with the foundation. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to please stand up and introduce yourself. And then of course, any chamber member who has not been to a previous membership meeting, please also stand. So we'll go ahead and start with some introductions here. Don't be shy.
Veronica Charlotte. I'm a former member of the board of the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation.
Ron Coleman, former board member.
Gary's with us. Ron Inlet, board member.
Bob Miller, board member.
She knew me, I didn't know.
Sandra Cabot, board member. Lisa Klein, board member.
We have any other board members out there?
We have a guest here from the Community Foundation of the Ozarks.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm Kate Starkey from Springfield, Missouri.
Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, well, with that, I guess Sandra will do some other introductions when she comes up and does her program. So thank you all for being here. It's great to see a full room, so I appreciate that. Real briefly, I'm going to go through some announcements, and then I'm going to go ahead and introduce Sandra because her program is not only very important to share with the community, but it's very informative, and I think a lot of you might not understand or realize the capacity of what that group does. So, real fast, I'm going to do an annual banquet recap for those of you who attended the annual banquet we held on April 19th. Thank you very much. We were just shy of 300 people attending that, which actually was pretty good because the room flowed really well. But we want to say thank you, or I want to say thank you to Shamet for hosting us again this year. They did a fantabulous job. And then my committee, of course, because they kept me sane through the entire process. And then all of you businesses and individuals who donated centerpieces to make the room just look amazing. So thank you for, again, supporting the 89th annual Chamber Banquet. So next year we'll be celebrating 90 years. It's kind of surreal, but 90 years. With that annual banquet, we also had membership dues go out in the last month. So if you've received your invoice or if you have any questions, you can call me at the office. But those dues are very important to the income and stability of our chamber. We are very grateful for all of our members that we have, and so if you could submit your dues back to us, that would be super. It would save me from having to send out a second notice. So thank you very much on that. Summer music series, the ticket sales are really going fast. I just sold a group of 30 tickets to the Johnny Cash tribute from a group from Kansas City. Yeah, I'm very excited. And then yesterday, about 22 more tickets from just all over the area. We have a group of 4 coming from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. So the word is definitely getting around, and we're very excited to have all of them traveling to come see our performances. So if you have not purchased your tickets, there are a few of Johnny Cash left, but he is very close to being sold out. Ticket sales are going really good, so I probably would purchase now instead of later because they might not be there later. We will have our posters and flyers hopefully, I'm supposed to have them by tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. But once I get those, I'll be going to a lot of your businesses and asking you to hang those up in your business as well. So if you can do that, I would appreciate it. If you can, I certainly understand too. So look for some flyers and posters coming your way very soon. Okay, that's all I have for chamber stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and go with our program. The 2013 marks the 10th anniversary of the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation. Since the Community Foundation touches so many lives and local organizations in so many ways, the Chamber has invited them to be our featured presentation for the May membership meeting. You may know that the Community Foundation has helped to establish our Chamber Summer Music Series, including recent grants to help us purchase the new sound system and improve lighting system this year. We have also benefited from their past grants to help us set up the Chamber's new website, the county website, and many more programs. Our first speaker today is Sandra Schaefer-Cabot, a native of St. Genevieve County who returned to us after living and working out of state for 15 years. Sandra was part of the original steering committee that helped form the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation and has served as the president of the Community Foundation for the past 10 years. So please help me welcome Sandra Cabot as our guest speaker.
Thank you, Dina, and thanks everyone for being here today. Dina did some introductions, but I would like to, because this is our 10th anniversary celebration in 2013, we have some very important people who are with us here today, and I would like to recognize our board members who are present and ask them to stand. And I would also like to recognize some of our founders and past board members who are present today and ask them to stand as well. First and foremost, we would like to recognize Kent Kerr and his wife Joan, who are joining us from St. Louis today. Kent was the attorney for the estate of Marjorie Bussin, and it was a donation from the Bussin estate that helped us form the Community Foundation a little over 10 years ago. It was actually April that we set our charter in 2003. And so he was also responsible for helping establish, as many people know, I'm sure Brad and many others, the community center that you're sitting in today. It was a bequest from the Bussin estate that also helped us form this wonderful facility for our community. So Kent, we're very glad to have you to come down today. And all those years when Kent would come down for our early board meetings, Joan always came with him, and they went out to dinner, and they came over to our board meetings. So Joan was like an auxiliary member of the board even way back then. So next I would like to introduce and recognize Veronica Charlo and Ron Coleman, who were part of our original board of directors for the foundation, and the members of our board who are here today, Lisa Klein, who's our vice president, Bob Mueller, who serves as our secretary. Chris Kurtz could not be here today. Rod Scheer and Tom Kine could not either, but Ron Inman is here with us. Dick Grimminger, I haven't seen him. And the other members are Russ Loida and Don Heil. So if you would help me give these people a hand.
I'm going to have to leave, unfortunately for me. I'd like to add one more thing to relate to Mr. Kerr. Because of his efforts with the Lear family, Tower Rock Stone wouldn't have made the deal with the Bussins if it hadn't been for that gentleman. Think about all the good jobs that's helped with too over the years. So,
Absolutely. I would also like to acknowledge Kate Starkey, who came all the way over from Springfield, Missouri. Now, you should know, and I'll get into it during the presentation, but our Community Foundation is affiliated with a larger mothership type of organization called the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and they provide IRS services and investment services and scholarship support for community foundations all over the southern part of our state. And so when I go over to a meeting at the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, which is a couple of times a year usually, I drive all the way over to Springfield, and this last time I got smart and I drove down the night before and spent the night in Branson and then went up to Springfield for the meeting. But Kate has joined us from Springfield today. She drove up to Rolla, where she has a daughter who lives and works there, and then she came over to join us. So we're very glad that you could be here and representing the Community Foundation of the Ozarks for us.
I'm very glad to be here.
Okay, next slide, please. Actually, the one after that. Okay, so I mentioned our Community Foundation is an affiliate of the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and we're in good company. Can you back up one slide, please, Tom? Or forward? There we go. As you can see, we're in good company. This is a list of other rural communities across the state who also have a community foundation serving either their county or sometimes their city. It just depends on how they were set up. But there are many organizations that are doing the same thing that we're doing in our community, trying to make a difference where we live. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we were formed in 2003. We started with a charitable donation from the Bussin estate, and we've been fortunate to receive other gifts and donations along the way, most notably from the Wholesome Corporation, and we're very glad that they helped us set up a field of interest grant program, which we'll hear about later. And why did we do it? We really started to help those who want to give back to our community to make it a better place to live in the future. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life in St. Genevieve County by proactively addressing community needs and expanding, sometimes managing, and oftentimes distributing philanthropic resources in our community. Next slide, please. Okay, so we achieve our mission by, it's kind of a three-pronged approach, encouraging community giving and philanthropy. You know, I'm sure, like me, you all have certain charities that you give to, your church, whatever national charities that you give to, and we like for people to think about how important it is to give back to community organizations that serve St. Genevieve or St. Genevieve County citizens. The Community Foundation is just one of those organizations that falls into that category, but it's very important to remember your local community when you are deciding where you want to place your charitable contributions. And so we talk about, with local attorneys and bankers and investment advisors, we often talk about planned giving by individuals, helping those professionals in our community understand the advantages of estate planning and helping their clients understand the advantages of giving back to the community through either the Community Foundation or one of our other local organizations. If there's more philanthropy that's benefiting the citizens in our community, we view that as a positive, a net positive across the community. So we really want to encourage giving and philanthropy back in the community. And of course, there are corporate gifts to the local community, and we also serve as a ready-made tax-exempt entity serving the community. So you don't have to go and look for a 501c3. All of the contributions that you might make to the Community Foundation are immediately tax deductible according to whatever your personal or corporate guidelines are. We also try to increase our knowledge of community needs. Our board of directors, in the beginning, we met every single month, and it took several years like that, and kind of getting a feel for the pulse of what the needs were in the community, where the opportunities were, and matching those up, and reviewing grant applications and so on. And then we got a little better at it, I would like to think, and we meet every other month now, so it's still a big commitment on the part of our board members, but we do a lot of it electronically as well, and then we verify that in-between activity at our next face-to-face meeting. So we do, when we have our board meetings, we talk about what's happening locally and not just the grants in front of us, but sometimes there are needs that are observed in the community that we begin to work with an organization to kind of move those things along and help them with the resources that they might need to make that happen. So between making grants, sometimes leveraging funds, many organizations come to us because they might be eligible for, let's say, a federal grant, and the federal grant requires a local match, maybe it's 10%, 20, 25%, and they have no idea where they could go to get that local match portion. Well, it's much better for our community to get, $100,000 grant, if we can leverage it with $10,000 from the local community. So we always encourage groups and organizations that may be eligible for larger grant programs to remember to let us know if they have a need like that, because that makes our $10,000 all the more valuable if we can leverage that with another grant. And not just federal grants, but sometimes private organizations too. And so we also offer a college scholarship program, and you'll hear more about that specifically today. But we feel that encouraging our young people and enabling them in pursuing their educational goals can only benefit us as a community. And we really hope that at some point those individuals choose to come back and stay in the community. So in the meantime, if we've helped make it more attractive to live here and to come back here, so much the better. And we also assist other local non-for-profit organizations and encourage their collaboration. We have worked with a number of organizations, including the Lions Club, the Friends Foundation from the hospital, the Valley Schools Foundation, and even the Friends of St. Agnes out of Bloomsdale, and helped them, encourage them to become partners also with either us or directly with the Community Foundation of the Ozarks for the source of their funds investment, which really makes a big difference when you add all those funds together. You get a much better return than a professional management company looking after it. Next slide, please. Okay, in the photo highlights that we're running right before my presentation, you saw examples of the Community Foundation's work in many of those photos. These are just an example of some of the other types of grants that we've made over the years, and some of these organizations have received multiple grants from us, but anything from hospice care at the top there, the recycling center expansion project, we were able to help them with some equipment and also for their expansion. Here at the community center, we've been able to help them with equipment when they've needed it. Lions Club Park improvements, various festivals. As Dina said, we do support the St. Genevieve Chamber of Commerce Summer Music Series that has grown in popularity and is continuing to do so. And there's a number of organizations from the St. Vincent de Paul, and raise your hand over here, St. Vincent de Paul people, okay. They're from St. Vincent de Paul here in St. Genevieve, and we've also given to the organization in Bloomsdale. We've done that through both our direct grant program and also through our community development fund that Wholesome provides the funds to us to do that. So we're glad to be able to do this, and I guess I should emphasize that we do have two types of grant programs going on right now. Some that are direct funded by us from our principal funds and our investments that we give directly to the community, and some that are through the Community Development Fund project. And the next slide. Because this is such a frequently asked about program, I have this little FAQ sheet on the Community Development Fund. This is a field of interest fund that was established in 2005, and the first grants were made through that program in 2006. This is made possible by an annual donation from the Wholesome organization, and they donate the funds to the Community Foundation. We receive the applications. We have a 7-person review committee that helps review all of those applications each year, and then we meet between January and March and decide how many of those applications we can afford to fund, and then it's a process from there in terms of getting the funds to those organizations. But for example, this year in 2013, through the Community Development Fund program, we were able to provide $183,951 to 24 local programs, and this ranges everything from the county needed to spend about $40,000 for a new flyover for county mapping purposes, and many organizations use that, everything from our public safety organizations to our firefighters, and of course our tax assessors. So if you've got a new shed out back or a new barn or something, it won't be a secret anymore. There'll be a new flyover. So they might range in dollar amount, everything from the far end of the spectrum, like a $40,000 grant, all the way down to maybe $500 for new science textbooks at a local elementary school. So They really range the gamut, and we try to fulfill as many of them as we can. And every now and then we get an outlandish one. One time we had an application that came in from an organization that wasn't even in St. Genevieve County, and we had to send them a little letter that said, you know, we only give to organizations that are serving the people and citizens of St. Genevieve County. Usually they're located in St. Genevieve County. Sometimes they're not, but even if we give to an organization that serves multiple counties, our donations are only provided to the portion that resides within St. Genevieve County, in case anyone ever asked you. Next slide, please. Okay, and then I mentioned that we have different types of funds. You can set up a fund directly with the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation. You could set it up to honor a loved one. You could set it up because you want to sponsor, maybe your company wants to sponsor a new scholarship program. Maybe you want to sponsor a local, like a beautification program. So we have all different types of funds that have been set up that sometimes are called special interest funds. So you see some examples there. We have a fund that is just for the beautification of the river landing, and the funds are growing in that, and it started out with about $5,000, and as soon as everything gets figured out with the whole levee system and all of the other improvements that are supposed to happen down there on the river landing, we'll actually be able to move forward with some beautification projects there too. We have a Reading Express fund, and we actually also set up a fund for the Ozark Regional Library, an endowment that they receive a check every quarter, maybe about $200 or $250 every quarter to benefit their programs. And it just is off of the, you know, we set aside like a $10,000 endowment, and so they are benefiting from the interest on that endowment on a quarterly basis. And so you see there the Community Development Fund, and I have Wholesome in parentheses after that, and also the Economic Development Fund. The first couple of years we had just the CDF program, and now we also are fortunate enough to have an Economic Development Fund. And we're working with the community leaders to provide funds to some organizations, maybe to bring some new jobs and opportunities into St. Genevieve County. And then there's also, I mentioned earlier that we do work with other organizations, and one example of that is the Foundation for Restoration of St. Genevieve. They have set up an educational award, and we set up an endowment to help them fund that each year. And then the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation Scholarship Fund. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President, Lisa Klein, who also serves for the last couple of years as the chairman of the Scholarship Committee.
It's been a lot of fun doing this. You know, it's great to see the young people and what they achieve. And I've been chairperson for 2 years and took it over from Bob Mueller, who did an awesome job too. And I'm lucky enough to have 3 people on the committee. It would be Bob Mueller, Don Heil, and Ron Inman. So it's been very interesting. What we do is around February or so, we ask both schools, our scholarship goes to both St. Genevieve and to Valley, and we ask the counselors there to give us 5 students who they feel are worthy of the scholarship. And the committee meets, and we meet anonymously, and they review each of the 5 applicants from both schools, and a recipient is selected. What is so awesome about the scholarship is it's $2,000 a year per student, renewable for 4 years. So it's a total of $8,000 that these students can achieve based on their grade point too. And we've had students get all $8,000 and do awesome. I got a note from Judith Billings, who handles it through CFO, and just commending our students, how great they do. And I guess they keep a list of your GPAs too, and told us how well the students are doing, and it just makes us so proud. We have some great kids here. Sometimes it's a very difficult decision to make for some of those students, but the committee reviews each application, and we review it based on certainly academic achievement, but this is unique in that we also look at the community involvement of what the students do throughout their 4-year degree. And you know, lists are hugely long, how much these kids do, but it's a good feeling to give these awards out. And I just wanted to introduce this year's 2 recipients. We have Abby Falk from St. Genevieve, if you can stand up, and just tell us what your plans are and where what you're going to study.
Well, I'm planning on going to Missouri S&P in Rolla and then studying engineering.
we look at, like I said, community involvement so that they can hopefully come back to our community and serve our community too. This year's Valley recipient is Gretchen Kohler.
I'm going to University of Missouri in Columbia, and I'm going to study animal science.
Thank you, girls, for coming today. Thank you.
Okay, not to put anybody on the spot, but Bob, do you remember what year was the first year that we did the scholarship program?
Not exactly, but it must be about the 7th year.
I was
think.
gonna say 8. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, there's, the Community Foundation Scholarship is $2,000 per year, and it's renewable for 4 years. So it is currently the largest renewable scholarship in the community. And so we're very proud of that, and if you would like to support that, by all means, see me afterwards, or if you would like to start your own scholarship program and send more of our students off with a good send-off, we'd love to hear from you too.
I was just gonna say too, because we have each year, and college is 4 years, every year we're supporting 8 students in college, so.
And again, thank goodness for the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, because they keep all those checks straight and sending ones to different schools and checking those GPAs and everything. Okay, next slide, please. I touched on this a little bit, but no charitable giving presentation would be complete if I didn't tell you, how can you help? If you ever wanted to establish a charitable fund, that's an excellent way to leave a lasting impact on your community. And please don't think you have to wait until you die to do that, because, you know, regardless of whether you choose to do so as an individual or a corporation, there are many charitable causes for many purposes, but only a few that allow you to have an impact in your own backyard. And so we have some examples of the types of funds that could be set up. We talked about a memorial fund in honor of a loved one, or a scholarship in honor of a loved one. A charitable special interest fund could be started by a corporation, an individual, or a group. You could start a fund to promote an activity either with your not-for-profit organization that you belong to, or just because there's an activity that you would like to see more of in the community. Recently, through the Community Development Fund, we were able to give a $10,000 grant to the Center for Life locally, and so that's a good example of promoting an activity because they wanted to promote it, and we were able to help support that. You could also decide that you want to leave an endowment to provide future support for a certain type of activity, a community project, or a scholarship. Or you could choose to support our scholarship program, and we'd love to have you do that if you're interested. Next slide, please. So here is our contact information. Certainly, our P.O. Box is 247. We have a website that's hosted for us by the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and that's cfozarks.org/St. Genevieve. It's pretty simple. Or if you just land on the CFO website and click on affiliates, you'll find us there too. And I would also like to say that any of our board members who are present here today or are not here today, if you get in touch with one of them and you are interested in finding out about opportunities either to benefit your organization or that you may want to contribute to the Community Foundation and see that as an opportunity to impact your community, we'd love to talk to you. Next slide, please. So, one more click. I just want to leave you with a couple of parting thoughts. These are some of my favorite quotes about the importance of generosity. William Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." And the next one, you know, we have to have equal timing here. Here's one from Audrey Hepburn. "You will discover that you have two hands. One is for helping yourself, and the other is for helping others." And we hope that you remember that, and by all means, if you'd like to talk a little bit afterwards about the Community Foundation or its activities, please come on up. Thank you.
All right, really quickly, I know everybody's needing to get out of here. We overlooked approving the minutes from the last meeting. So if everybody for today, as you guys know, they actually provided lunch for us, so if we can give them a round of applause for that. Certainly appreciate that. Real quick, in other business, I know that we've thrown out a couple dates for the golf tournament that we had our first annual last year. It looked like the initial September date may not be good, may conflict with something else, so we're still looking at a couple dates, and we'll get back with everybody on that. So, we don't have,
I have something.
Dina has something.
The June membership meeting, I wanted to let you all know that June 6th, we will be having Jason Schott here, who is going to be presenting the Challenger Baseball project. So I would love to have a group of this size or bigger attend that as well. That's a very important project that's going on in our community, and I know that the Community Foundation has had a big part of helping with that too. So, and then there was one other thing I still had. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Sandra did touch base on the summer music series, and we kind of said it in our introduction earlier, but this year we were able to get a lighting grant from the Community Foundation that's going to make our shows even more spectacular. Before, if you've ever attended a music program there, we only had 4 cannon lights that centered on the center stage. And so it definitely was not enough light to showcase the entire ensemble that was up there. So this year, we were able to get a professional lighting system installed at the Oris for our performances. Our performers are excited. They cannot even wait. They love the venue, and now we can thank them